So, my sister and I went to see Shelby Oaks last week, and now I have opinions I want to share with anyone who clicks on this video. Going in, I knew that the movie was directed by the YouTuber Chris and I was well aware that he is a movie critic. Yet that didn't really affect my expectations for the movie, and I went to see it with an open mind.
Oh, God. Dude, you said you wouldn't say everything looks like shit.
I'm not his fan, but I'm also not his hater. I have a very neutral relationship with his content and him as a content creator. I don't know much about him or his career or his previous works or controversies, if he has any. So I'm judging this movie with no prior biases, either positive or negative. I was simply hoping it would be either very good, simply good, or just so bad that it's good. And for me, despite it being visually interesting, that was an objectively meh movie. To be honest, my personal standard for what makes an objectively good movie is pretty low. In my opinion, a good film should have a coherent, well-paced script, characters whose motivations are consistent, and a story with a clear structure, a setup, confrontation, and a resolution. It's a very basic concept, but there is a reason it works. I don't mind repetitive ideas, similarly structured scenarios, or even few cliches thrown in here and there. Almost every good movie follows a structure that's been proven to work, a skeleton that holds the story together. I know that at the end of the day it all comes down to a matter of taste, but unless you're making an art house movie, there are certain rules one must follow to create a good story. And don't get me wrong, I don't think creativity should be boxed in or restricted by rules. But storytelling and filmmaking, like any discipline, have fundamentals that help the artist navigate the creative process. I believe that following the rules of filmmaking doesn't restrict one's creativity. On the contrary, it provides a guideline that helps one's creativity flow and evolve. One must learn the rules and practice applying them in order to create a strong final product, and once mastered, those rules can be bent or even broken to achieve something greater. The same premise or idea can be interpreted and told in countless ways. Every unique story, in essence, is a story that's been told before, just told by a different narrator. So, what I'm trying to say is that I don't expect every movie to be either a masterpiece or a complete failure, and Shelby Oaks, unfortunately, was just an awkward and frustrating mediocrity. It relies a bit too much on jump scares, the story is underdeveloped and feels rushed, and the characters sometimes behave like they forget they're human and not movie prompts.
Identity compromised. Abort mission.
The movie will probably make a good profit, and I'm rooting for it to be successful enough to encourage the director to make more films, but at the same time, I want to share my thoughts on it because I need an outlet for my frustration. This is why I'm making this video actually. So, I would divide this movie into two parts, the introduction and the very frustrating, awkward, and clunky ending. I can't even call it a resolution because it feels... well, it never felt like a coherent ending to a mystery, because, first of all, the mystery was never there, and secondly, the ending was just...
Weird, all of it weird.
The movie spends too much time introducing the characters and their backstory and then quickly wraps up the story, forgetting that other characters were introduced in the beginning. It's a very linear and boring narration. A happens, then B happens, then C happens, and so on. The movie is good at creating tension, but only in scenes when you anticipate a jump scare. Every time you think a jump scare will happen, it will happen.
They looked in the wardrobe and discovered that the stylist had only brought non-skinny jeans!
And it feels like you're watching the same scary scene over and over.
And again, and again, and again.
The main character fails to evoke any sympathy because after the first half of the movie, she starts doing the most irrational, eye-rolling things a person can do in a horror film. She feels like a character in a horror movie, rather than a character in a movie. It's almost as if she's determined to follow every stupid horror movie cliché that will put her even...
Let me try again.
in an even worse situation. Alright, so I'm going into some spoiler territory now, so you've been warned. So the movie is about a woman named Mia who is obsessively looking for her younger sister Riley, who went missing after a terrifying accident that occurred in the ghost town named Shelby Oaks, where the young sister Riley and her friends were filming a YouTube video looking for paranormal activity. When we're introduced to Mia, we see that she really cares about her sister, that she believes her sister could see and sense things other people don't, and that Mia has a very rocky relationship with her husband, with whom she wanted to have a child, but after her sister disappeared, they stopped trying. And after 11 or 12 years, I don't really remember now, Mia is now filming a documentary to clear Riley's name, well, hopefully. And one day, a man arrives with a gun and a tape that has Shelby Oaks written on it, and he himself in front of Mia once she opens the door.
Who invited him here?
And that's where the movie really starts to take action, because everything prior to that was just exposition, which unfortunately could have been cut out without losing much. Which honestly is quite sad, because the found footage they show before that looks really great. But it only adds bits of information that are so trivial to the plot that they could have been conveyed to the audience in under 1 minute.
Come on, let's wrap it up!
So many characters were shown that are non-essential to the movie's plot and contribute absolutely nothing. For example, after the man himself, blood splatters onto Mia's face, and my sister and I were trying to understand why, even after the ambulance left and hours had passed, Mia still had this stranger's blood on her face. Why didn't she wash it off?
Lynn, wash your face, please. I'm gonna faint again.
Oh, come on, look at me.
Oh my god.
This moment really took me out of the movie, because all I could think was, is she not worried about blood-transmitted diseases? Okay, alright, let's say it was the shock and the stress that were so strong that she forgot she had blood on her. But what was the husband there for?
Serve no purpose. They're purely decorative.
Seriously, the husband could have been replaced by a bar stool, and that would have made no difference whatsoever. And not just the husband, the girl who was helping Mia film the movie, the friends that were killed when the younger sister went missing, even the younger sister herself. There was so much found footage shown at the beginning of the movie that focused on Riley's character and who she was as a person, but I swear, if by the end of the movie Mia found someone else instead of her sister, it would have made absolutely no difference, and every character feels like a random NPC rather than an integral part of the story. All that exposition at the beginning was for nothing. The sister could have been dead when Mia finally finds her in that basement, and it wouldn't have made any difference. I said it twice already, or like 3 times, but that's how non-important those characters were. I don't have anything against exposition, but I prefer when it's not used as a crutch for lazy writing. This movie is just a series of expositions told through different means. First, it's Mia showing the found footage of her sister and her friends, which is fine. But then once she gets the tape, the one that the man brought to her house, we see how her friends died through that tape. And then when Mia finds that shack in the woods, which somehow was never discovered by the police before, we get the most obnoxious piece of exposition one could have put in that movie. A photo album with a short summary of everything that happened to her sister while she was in captivity. Seriously? A photo album? Why not Instagram stories then?
This is me at Mount Rushmore. Do you see? Do you see?
Yes, I see.
Look at the things I've done. Pictures of my trip to Cheyenne for Frontier Days. Do you see?
Oh God, I'm so bored. Somebody help me.
And what annoyed me the most with that photo album, about that the whole idea of a photo album being there as an exposition tool, is that the man who himself brought a tape to Mia. You see where I'm going with it, right? Let's say the old woman, that man, wanted to capture the birth of the Antichrist, or whatever this demon child is ought to become. Why didn't they use the camera to do that? And they could have captured only moments, only some moments, not tell the entire story. Snippets of what the younger sister's life was so far. Not too much, but just enough to disturb the main character and the viewers. I mean, like us as the audience. And at the end, hint that the sister is still alive, as if taunting the main character to come and find her, making her feel like she is rushing against time. Then that would have explained why she decided to go alone in that prison and then to the amusement park. She doesn't ask her husband to go with her, and she doesn't ask the people who are filming the documentary to accompany her. For absolutely no reason, she goes in the middle of the night, alone, to a place where her sister was kidnapped and her friends were brutally murdered. Why is she doing that? Why is she going there alone? The husband thinks that she's going insane, but that still doesn't explain why Mia doesn't even try to ask him. And at least if the movie showed us that Mia feels like she's running out of time, that would have explained why she is doing this so recklessly, why she is ready to go there even by herself, if that means that there is even a smallest chance that she can save her sister. Small changes to the script that would have made the story more digestible and coherent. So many things that make you wonder why they're even included and mentioned in the film if they're never even utilized. By the end of the movie, the husband isn't even home. He's nowhere to be seen. Actually, maybe he was there, but he was so unimportant that I can't even remember him being there. And then the ending. I'm not gonna spoil all of it. I'm just gonna say I have so many questions, and not in a good way. First of all, why is the main character, the Mia sister, why is she so chill? She saw the demon. She saw the old woman summoning the demon. She saw the glowing eyes of that buff daddy demon standing behind the old grandma while they were trying to escape from that basement. She saw the sister flying in the fucking air, and she saw the demon standing next to the crib while the woman was performing the ritual. And yet, afterwards, she does absolutely nothing. Once the ritual is complete, she approaches the baby and smiles, as if she's happy to discover that baby there. And then, after everything that's happened, she takes the baby home. She acts as if she just went to Target on a regular Tuesday evening, like nothing bothers this woman. It's not like she saw the baby without seeing the whole demonic ritual, that happened right in front of her as the old woman sacrificed herself to summon the demon and spelled out in modern English exactly what she was doing with that ritual. I know that many viewers were screaming for her to kill the demon child, especially when Mia approached the crib and started smiling, ignoring everything that happened 15 minutes ago. But let's be real, killing a child, unless you're a psychopath, is not something anyone can do easily, even if they know that this is like 100% a demon baby. But couldn't she at least try pouring some holy water on that kid? Go to a church, call for an exorcism, leave the baby at the church door, let someone else deal with that problem. At least leave the baby at the hospital for a while. Look, I know that the hospital bills can be scarier than an encounter with a demon, but my girl, priorities. Anything to prevent bringing the demon baby into your house. Look, I'm agnostic, but if I ever see a demon with my own two eyes, I'll be right there every Sunday singing praises to Jesus in the church's choir.
I wanna get down on my knees and start pleasing Jesus. I wanna feel his salvation all over my face.
But no, instead of putting any effort into ensuring that her and her sister, who may I remind you went through hell and back, are protected, she's much more concerned with finishing the documentary on her sister's disappearance. Couldn't that wait a few weeks? She just accepts the child so easily. I know that it was set up at the start of the movie that she wanted a child but couldn't have one, but that still doesn't feel like a normal human reaction to a demon baby. She wasn't even a grieving mother to say that it's her trauma response to her past loss. Also, another thing that bothered me is that she acts as if this child is a blessing or something, and it is so messed up that she is so happy to see the baby that was a result of years of torturing and raping her younger sister. Her sister went through sexual and mental abuse, and Mia later leaves the child in the same room with her sister.
The hell?
So yeah, she took the demon offspring home and she just happened to have a crib ready for it.
And it fit.
The ending, it just made me laugh. It was so awkward. Once again, the main character was doing that shocked and trembling stare that she's been doing throughout the movie, and I think that she got possessed by the demon at the end, but honestly I couldn't care less by that point because everything she's done so far brought me nothing but frustration and irritation. I remember there was a scene when she comes to the amusement park and reaches into her glove department in the car, and my sister said that at least she got a gun with her. And then we just see her pull out another flashlight. Everything the main character does feels like her following a script. She doesn't feel like a real person, she feels like a character written specifically for a horror movie genre. I am distinguishing Stuckman's career as a movie critic from his career as a filmmaker. You don't need to be a chef to know when the dish you've been served is tasteless. So I'm not going to say that he should have done a better job just because he made movie reviews in the past. Because, as this movie proves, it's much harder to create a movie than to critique one. But I think it's great that this movie was made. I think that the existence of this movie is a positive reminder that in order to create something good, one needs skills and experience that can only be built through practice. And although I'm ranting about this movie, in no way I would want this to discourage anyone who wants to create something on their own. It's very important, in my opinion, to remember that Stuckman took a big risk bringing this movie to theaters, because I'm sure that as a movie critic, he knew that he will get judged even more harshly than other directors. And I'd rather see more creative people taking risks and publishing their works. Would I recommend this movie? Well, if you ask me, what would you recommend watching? This movie wouldn't be on my recommendation list, unfortunately. But if you ask me, should I go watch this specific movie in the theaters right now? Well, yeah, why not? If you still haven't seen the movie, you can go watch it even after watching this review. I think that spoilers won't really affect the movie experience overall. Have fun, join the discussion, and see for yourself whether you like it or not. You might enjoy it for different reasons. After all, movies are made to be seen and talked about. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, please leave a like, and if you subscribe, that will make me very, very happy. Also, I'm curious to hear your opinions on the movie, so if you've seen it, leave your comments below. My next video will probably be about K-pop demon hunters. I know, we're going from a horror movie to K-pop demon hunters, but yeah, I have some thoughts on that too. And so yeah, thank you for staying till the end of this video, and hopefully see you again soon.